Welcome to SparkBizCast, the podcast about igniting your business spark, where we talk with business owners and experts in law, advertising, finance, and more to spark your innovative idea into a full-fledged enterprise. Welcome back, everyone, to the SparkBizCast, the podcast about igniting your business spark. Today, we have a very special guest, my good friend and fellow business owner, Raquel Alba. Raquel is the owner of Raquel Alba Beauty. It's a professional makeup service based out of Seattle. And she's currently in the process of not only building her existing business, but expanding the brand into cosmetics and hair care products, eyelash extensions. So please welcome Raquel Alba. Raquel, thank you so much for joining today.
Hi, thank you for having me. This is so great. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, thank you for joining. So, for the viewers, audience, we met when we worked at a biotech company up in Seattle. So, both of us
Yeah.
were working at a biotech company doing the corporate job, and we both kind of like realized, like, hey, I think we can do more. Like, we can make our own business. We can do our own startup. So, her and I at the same time embarked down this other path. A lot of it we were forced, right? I got laid off.
Yeah. We'll spill
So
the tea later.
both got laid off. But that's okay. With startup capital
Yep.
to get this going, right?
Yep.
So, yeah, sometimes life puts you down a different path, and that's what her and I have discovered, and it's launched, two of us, we have launched businesses out of it. So, can you tell everyone how you got into professional makeup, how long you've been in it? Like, how did you all get started? What gave you this idea?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So kind of to take you back from the very beginning, I have always had a love for makeup ever since I was a really young girl. And, I would always play with my mom's makeup, a very cliche story, but it's so true. I feel like every makeup artist kind of says this too, but you kind of know whether you love makeup or not?
Art.
Um,
You're doing art.
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
art. That's what
exactly.
it is. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So I've always had a huge love for it, ever since I was a little girl. And, I really kind of like learned on my own, especially when I was a teenager. I would like read every makeup book possible. I'd watch like every YouTube tutorial back when like YouTube, like the beauty community on YouTube was just starting in like 2008, 2009.
Wow.
Yeah, so I would watch a lot of tutorials and I was pretty much self-taught and like, before YouTube, I would flip through magazines and try to recreate looks for myself and I would practice on my friends. And then, when I started to get a little bit better at it, um, I would do like my friends like prom makeup and like homecoming makeup and yeah. And then when I got to college, same thing. I was like, the makeup artist of the friend group, right?
Right.
Yeah. So then it had been kind of like a really fun creative outlet for me. And when I got to college, it was also a really fun thing to do with my friends and excuse me, practice with my friends and everything. And then after college is when I started doing it more as like a side hustle. So I actually kind of like started building up a professional makeup kit and like, doing friends' weddings and like family and stuff. But like I wasn't taking paying clients. And then, yeah. So then when I got to my 30s, pretty much like when I turned 30, I was like, okay, I really want to take this a lot more seriously now. I figured out how much I love bridal makeup. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna like really dedicate myself to like actually start my brand and like start a business and like actually get paid for it because having a pro makeup kit is expensive.
Oh, I didn't think about that. That's
Yeah,
true.
it
There's
is.
a lot of startup costs just with that kit.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, just the kit itself is just, it's so much money. Cause like think of all the foundations you have to get, to like be able to like
Colors,
match
right?
every skin type, every color, yeah. like eyeshadows and like different liners, all the brushes you have to buy. I mean, I have probably 15 to 20 sets of brushes because,
They
you
expire
know,
the
some
makeup too, right? The makeup
and the
expires.
makeup, yep, and
Oh,
the makeup expires. So you have to keep buying foundations like every year, no matter if you're like not even halfway done with it or whatever. Like you have to keep buying all this makeup because it all expires.
wow. I didn't realize the startup
Yeah,
cost was so high. So
yeah.
how much would somebody to just start a basic kit to get
hmm
started, how much typically would you need to spend for that?
Um, if you're just starting out, you could go, you know, pretty cheap. I'm not saying it's cheap makeup, but like I always recommend people to start signing up for like pro makeup discounts, right? So you have different websites and different like actual brick and mortar stores as well that sell like pro makeup brands. And they give you like 25% off, 30% off. So that's a really good way to start. And it's also a good way to start with like, you know, like foundation palettes instead of buying like foundation bottles of like each color. So, you know, I would say you could start it up like for a kit, like 500 to $1,000.
Wow, that's still a high startup
It's
cost.
still a lot.
I realize that.
It's still a lot. Yeah. Yeah.
S-
It's just like things just like really add up. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
shadow palettes, foundations, bronzers, blushes, and you have to have different shades. And that's where it adds up too. You have to have different shades for different skin colors.
Now, have you had clients specifically request certain brands to be put on them? And have you had to like purchase, like, or can you just use whatever sort of brands that you like in your professional kit, or do you have client requests for particular brands?
I've never had a client request for a particular brand. Clients do get really curious to see like what brands I use, but
Okay.
it's never been like, oh, I must use Chanel, like a full face of Chanel. You know what I mean? Like I have some Chanel products, like I have so many different brands that I carry, but it's never been like a I'm a Chanel only girly.
Well, you know, and that could be its own business line too, where you're doing,
Yeah,
Chanel makeup only, but
yeah,
the demand for that can't be that high. So when you got
right. Yeah.
started, it was mostly word of mouth then, I take it, right?
Yes, yeah. So when you first get started, it's all about building that clientele, building that trust, and also advertising. Advertisement is king when you're first starting out. Like you have to be on all the things. You have to be on Google. You have to have a website. Um, yeah. Now, one thing that I did do to really like help my business, but also just really help my skill set and feel comfortable as well with like paying clients is starting um like being on a bridal makeup team, like being a part of a team. So I know some states are kind of different with this, but I know New Jersey is big on this, Washington State is big on this. Um, and I know like Texas is big on this too. They have what they call like bridal makeup teams, right? So you have a business that has like 13, 15, you know, 20 people underneath the business. And it's all makeup artists or hairstylists, and they all just travel to different wedding venues, right? To do bridal makeup.
Somebody sets up a corporation or an LLC,
Yes.
and then they hire a bunch of contractors within it. You
Yes.
can do it that. Is that how you partly got started as well? You were part of a bridal
Yes.
team? Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So I was part of a bridal team. And that really helped me when I was starting my business for the first time, right? Because I could see what it looked like to do bridal makeup, you know, what it looked like to do like, you know, an 8-person wedding party, like what the vibe was, what the feel was, you know, like what kind of makeup was used and yeah, so bridal is just a totally different beast, if
So
you
were
will,
you
than like
able to,
editorial.
sorry to cut you off. So were you able to learn from the company, like how do you do scheduling, how you do booking, how do you, how do you do the marketing? So were you able to get some of that as well from working under a company?
Not so much of that. What I mainly learned from a team was my artistry. It was really my artistry and what bridal makeup really looked like. Um, as far as like scheduling, contracts, invoicing, emailing with the bride back and forth, that was really all me. That I was really much self-taught and I did all my own research on that.
So you had to have contracts too then.
Oh yeah, you have to have a contract in place. Absolutely.
Why? Tell me why. I'm curious because not a lot
Yes.
of independent contractors would think they need a contract with a bride. Is it because of like chargebacks or?
Yeah. So, well, when you're an independent contractor with a company, thankfully, you're not the one that has to deal with all of that, right? You don't have to deal with the invoicing and the scheduling and the contractor and everything. That would be the business owner who does all of that. And basically, the business owner will then contact us and be like, hey, are you free on so and so date for this bride and five other people or whatever, you know? And then you either say yes or no. She schedules you, and all you have to do is show up, do the work, and be gone, right?
Right.
But
Okay.
when you're the business owner, so like me, then I'm now having to like do contracts for my business. And obviously like I'm not doing them myself. I worked with a lawyer
Okay.
who really helped me with the contracts and everything. So it's like, you want to be legally legit, right?
Sure,
So,
sure. But what is the importance of the contract so people understand? Because I don't think a
yes.
lot of people think of that. And,
Yeah.
you and I kind of worked a little bit in law at the
Yes.
biotech company. So tell
Yeah.
people why the contract's important.
Yeah, so the contract is really important because it's going to save you from any future like legalities, any future litigations, if God forbid anything happens, right? So you're really protecting yourself. Like let's say a bride doesn't like the way you did makeup on her, like your contract is basically saying like you agree to this person's artistic style and you can't just sue them because you don't like the makeup, right?
Right.
Um,
Okay.
right. And then another thing, yeah, so any kind of legalities, right? Like God forbid she gets some kind of like allergic reaction to like an eyeshadow or a cream that I'm using on her, right? um, they can't come back and sue me for that because in my contract I state that you have disclosed any allergies, any skin issues that you have. So like you basically say like, you can't sue me because you've told me the truth about any skin allergies you have. So
It's a bridezilla contract.
yes. You gotta protect yourself from the Brazilias. Thankfully, I've never had one.
No, it
I've
sounds like
never had,
I've seen your
yeah,
posts. Your clients look amazing. They're so beautiful. Their
thank you.
makeup looks great.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I was just curious about the contracts. So
Yeah.
where would somebody start to try to get a contract? They just need to find a contract attorney in their area for that?
Yes, so you can do that. There are also attorneys like online that work with small business owners as well that like they sell their own contracts and everything too, and those contracts are really good. That's kind of how I started. Um, I know I really love the legal page, and it's spelled like her name Paige, like Paige. So
Okay,
it's kind of like
like
a
the
play on
page.
words. I
Okay.
love it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So the legal page, she's wonderful and she specializes in bridal because she used to be a bridal photographer. And now she is a lawyer and she works like she does a lot of legal work now and she writes up a ton of contracts for different wedding vendors. So she has contracts for like wedding hairstylists, wedding makeup artists, like yeah, wedding like any kind of wedding professional. probably has a contract for. So that's kind
Okay,
of how I
so
got started with the
well, I'll get
contract.
the
Yeah.
link from you and we'll include that in the
Yes.
comments in the show notes for today because I think that's really
Yes.
important. That's something that a lot of individuals, when they start a company, they don't think about is protecting themselves from potential litigation because when you're
Oh,
dealing
yeah.
with other people, especially when it's regarding a wedding and something emotional, the bridezilla can come out. And luckily,
Oh, yeah.
because you have a contract in place, expectations are properly set with your clients, so you're not going to
Yes.
necessarily run into that. But
Yes.
that is what amazes me about you is you had the foresight to think of all of this as and you're working full time. So tell
Yeah.
everyone about that. You're working full time in
Yes.
these companies while you're running this other business and you're
Yeah.
in a long-term relationship. She's now married, but she's doing
Yes, I
all
am.
of this together. So walk everyone through what that's been like to work full time and then
Yeah.
starting this business and you have, your partner. So how did you manage all of that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I work full time as a freelance makeup artist and brand expert for Bobbi Brown and Charlotte Tilbury. These are both beauty brands, which I absolutely love. And I use those two brands in my makeup kit already. So it just kind of felt very natural for me to work with these two brands. And, again, going back to freelancing too, the beauty of that is you have full control over your schedule, right? So they pretty much ask you like, hey, when are you available to work? Like, can you work on X date or whatever? You can say yes or no. Um, which is really nice. It's very definitely very different than working, your corporate America, your 9 to 5 job, which, we both kind of been like, absolutely not, never again.
Need to make
Yeah.
our own paths.
Yeah.
That's the thing, and that's kind of the thing that you and I had talked about is when you own your own business, there's no ceiling to how much money you can make. But when you work for somebody else, you have a ceiling, but with that ceiling, you get security, and it's like,
Yes.
but do you really have security? Because at any moment they can lay you off, and so at the end of the day, it's almost better to try to start something on your own like you've done.
Exactly. Yes. So, it's been really nice having working for these two companies while also having my own business because it does kind of give me that, that security like money wise,
Right.
but also, having, autonomy over my own schedule and then having my own business has been really, really nice because I just, I can decide how I want to do things, when I want to do things, and it's so good.
Plus, working for them, you're still in your lane. You're still in cosmetics, you're in makeup. So, if anything, it's
Yeah.
only making it, it's supporting what you're doing on your business side. And potentially down the line, who knows, it could lead to partnerships as far as, selling their
Yeah.
cosmetics, directly through
Yeah.
clients, right?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that's kind of something that's one of my goals in the near future is, hopefully, partnering with these brands, or even, creating my own brand too one day.
Yes. Yes, let's talk about that. So,
Yeah.
almost a year ago, I think, Raquel and I filed her trademark for Raquel
Yes.
Alba for cosmetics and
Yes.
eyelash extension, hair care products. So her trademark has gotten approved. It went through publication, and she'll be soon needing to prove use in commerce. I think you got
Hmm.
like 7 or 8 more months before that even happens. But
Yeah.
we were talking about white labeling. So explain white labeling to people. So how does that work exactly?
Yeah. So instead of having like a really huge brand, oh, I'm sorry, something happened here. Can you still hear me, see me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here, I'll
Like
start
something
it
popped
over.
up on my computer. I'm like,
That's okay.
okay.
I'll start it over.
Okay.
What were we? Okay.
So explain to me how
White
white
label?
labeling works. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you just start over with the white labeling then.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so white labeling is pretty much, so instead of having, your own manufacturing, working with your own, like chemists and scientists to develop a product, you would basically work with an already existing manufacturer or a brand, and you basically purchase that product and then they would put your label on it. So I would get, like whether it's makeup or hair care, whatever it may be, I would purchase it from an existing manufacturer already, an existing company, and then they would put my Raquel Alba Beauty label on that, which, saves a ton of money for sure. Because starting a product from absolute scratch it's crazy. It's very expensive, very time consuming. So someone with a small business like myself, obviously I don't have like that huge capital to be doing that. So it makes a lot more sense for me to just um work with a manufacturer and do white labeling.
And that's what I think a lot of makeup artists don't realize is that as you build out your brand, it's a very
Hmm.
natural extension to start selling your own branded cosmetics. But what a
Yeah.
lot of people don't realize, like you said, is that you can white label, you can find third parties who are producing makeup and then they put your branding on there. You get to choose your palettes, you get to choose how the product looks, what type of
Yep.
product selling. And then that makes it
Hmm.
a lot easier to get products into the marketplace than exactly because the startup capital required to start a cosmetic company is probably hundreds of
A
thousands.
lot.
Not everyone's Kylie Jenner, right? So,
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, it's a
but
lot of
that's the hope.
money that I don't have.
That's the
Yeah.
hope. See Kylie Jenner. And let's talk about that. Let's
Yes.
talk about being a public figure as a makeup artist because it's one of the
Yeah.
few areas where, in addition to being a business owner and manager, you really are the public face of the brand. So, her
Hmm.
and I have gotten into discussions about this a lot because Raquel, look at how beautiful she is, but she
Oh
doesn't
gosh.
want to show herself. She doesn't put a lot of reels of her out there. But
Yeah.
she's slowly starting to ease her way into it because she realizes that she is the brand. And so let's
Yeah.
talk about that. Like how do you get yourself comfortable with being seen if you just wanted to start a business and you just wanted to be an artist, but now you're realizing, "Oh, wow, I need to be this face."
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's definitely something that is out of people's comfort zone, at least most people. Some people are very natural at it, but someone like me, it's definitely out of my comfort zone to be like showing my face and like showing up on stories all the time and, showing, like pictures of myself or reels where I'm in them. So it's definitely out of my comfort zone, but you kind of start realizing people want to see the face of the brand. People want to see the person behind the brand. People relate to that person, right? So people want to see the human person, like the humanity, and
Right.
they want
It's
to
like Taylor
they don't want to.
Swift, right? They become
Exactly.
loyal to the person, not necessarily the
Yes.
art, but they become loyal to the
Yeah.
person.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. So they want, yeah. So they want to be able to like to see who the brand is, right?
So, what has been the big fear for you, if you don't mind sharing, in being
Hmm.
more public? What is the fear? Is it fear of judgment, fear? Because we do know that if you put more reels up or posts with your face in it, it
Hmm.
gets more views. So you know the data is there to support what you're doing, but there's
Yeah.
still this fear. So help walk us through that because that might be something that could really help another person kind of struggling with being seen, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, well, speaking for me personally, I think my fear definitely comes from like judgment, right? Like what are people gonna think? Like, oh my gosh, she is not good at this, or, oh my gosh, she's so like introverted because I'm a huge introverted person. So it's like really hard for me to do that. But the more you do it, the more comfortable you start to get, right? But it also doesn't help when you're like scrolling through Instagram, scrolling through TikTok, and you see these people who are so gorgeous and so like they're so natural, right? Like the Alex Earls of the world, right? They're so natural in front of like the camera. And there's just like they have like, like the best personalities and stuff. And you're like, God, like I want to be like that, but I'm just not at that point. Like, how do I get to that? So it's kind
You
of like one of
are
those things.
though. You
It's one of those
are.
things where you have to like think about it like you're just starting this, right? Like everyone's gonna start off like, a little awkward, right? Because it's not natural. It's not a natural thing for human
It's just
beings to
not.
be doing this. Yeah, it's not natural at all. So you want to start off, like just thinking like it's okay. Like you're gonna start off a little awkward. It's gonna be weird. It's gonna feel like abnormal, but like the more you do it, the better you'll get at it, right? Alex Earl has been doing this for years now. So that's why she's so good at it, right?
Authentic, right? Because
Yeah.
people can go back through your history and see, oh wow, these were her humble beginnings. This
Yes.
is how Raquel got started. Look, she had a
Yeah.
little slip up. How cute. And then they see you become Kylie Jenner and they're like,
Yeah.
that's the point. They can see where you came from, that you were human
Hmm.
too, and now all of a sudden you're this big brand and they're like,
Yeah.
wow, I can do that too. If she did it, I can do it. So that's
Yeah.
what I think maybe the switch needs to go with you is like maybe it's not so much judgment. Maybe I should be focusing more on inspiring other women to take this path.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely.
Because you are
Yeah.
completely inspiring. I mean,
Oh,
you
thank
did it
you.
to build this business while you were working full time,
Mhm.
with planning a wedding for yourself not too long ago.
Yeah.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. It definitely felt really weird being on the other side.
I'm sorry
Yeah.
I couldn't be there. I had to leave Seattle and come to
I
LA,
know.
do
Yeah.
podcasts and everything else. So
No, but you've been doing so many amazing things. Like I'm so proud of you.
you're so sweet. But
You
as you
are you're a
saw,
boss
my
lady. I love it.
Insta was like off the rocker a few months ago. So see, that's the whole point. You have to play
Mhm.
around. It's an art
Yeah.
too, right? So you have to play around with it, see what works, see what's comfortable for you. But those moments where you feel you're being judged and failing are great ways of testing which way your art needs to go, right? It's like comedy.
Yeah.
So the comedian
Yeah.
goes and they test the skit, and if it doesn't work, they go in a different direction. So that's what you're
Exactly.
doing, but with showing your face and being more public. But I want to see you, Kylie Jenner, someday selling, half of your company for $500 million.
Oh my gosh, that would be ideal. That's the goal. So,
So before we wrap up, tell the audience what are some of the pitfalls or best practices even to know when you get into a business like this? What is something you wish you knew before you got started?
yeah, so I wish someone had taught me how to, do an LLC, right? Like what are all the things I need to create an LLC? How to make a website, how to how to like email like professionally with like my brides and stuff, like specific like emails and like creating like a customer relations tool, right? So like a CRM type of thing, right? Like where you keep like a customer database and you're communicating through there. Like these are all things I kind of wish people would have taught me how to do when I first
How do,
started a business.
how do you manage a CRM? Do you use a product or how do you do it?
Yes. Yeah, so I use the tool called HoneyBook,
Okay.
which is amazing. I know a lot of wedding professionals use it. You basically have your customer management in there. You do all of your invoicing through there, your emails, your contracts, everything is in one neat place instead of having like a million different things going on, right? Like
Right.
you have like your emails in one place, your contract in another place, and you have your invoicing through another website. It's really nice having everything in one place. Like when I first started, it was like a disaster, right? I had my invoicing through like Squarespace. I had my contracts like a PDF file that I would just like attach to my emails. And it was just so kind of like scatterbrained, very kind of like not the most professional,
Well, you don't know,
but
right? Who would have
yeah,
thought that it's
exactly.
like a all-in-one CRM tool? I would have never,
Exactly.
like even in law, we have to use like five different things to get
Yes,
what
exactly.
we're talking about.
Exactly. So if you are a makeup artist and you're first starting, you want to start your business, you want to start, doing like bridal makeup or whatever it may be, I would definitely reach out to a makeup artist that you admire, and just, ask them questions. Like we're all really happy to help. Like even if you want to reach out to me, like I'm really happy to help and like walk you through, how to like implement your contract into your business, um how to start up a HoneyBook, for example, right? Like it's very overwhelming at first, like, because you want to tailor everything to your business. So, um, I can definitely like walk you through how to set it up and everything, and automating your business is very important as well. So I would definitely encourage you to reach out to a makeup artist or someone you really admire in your field and your business, what you want to get into, and reach out to someone who knows. That's what I wish I would have done. I kind of just researched everything on my own, and I wish I would have had kind of like a mentor, right, for my business, someone to tell me and guide me.
Well, yes.
um
Well, not many people
yeah,
think to do that. So that is a really good
totally,
point to reach out to somebody already in
totally.
the industry
Yeah,
who could be a mentor. Yeah,
yeah.
not to add another thing onto your plate. You should think about doing courses.
Yes, no, absolutely. And something that I've just kind of started doing too is, and now this is not like courses for like, starting a makeup business or whatever, but I started doing one-on-one makeup lessons, which has been really fun.
Really? How do you do
Yes.
that over Zoom?
No, so well, yes, I can do it over Zoom, but I
Okay.
prefer to do it in person. So whoever books it comes to me, and then I have my makeup kit laid out, and they come to me with questions on, like whether it's like I want to like learn how to do like a really beautiful everyday makeup look, for work, or I want to be able to like recreate this specific look for, an upcoming event or my wedding, whatever it may be.
Okay.
Or even if you need like a quick like makeup refresh, right? You have no idea what you're doing with your makeup. Like, let me just teach you a couple of tips and tricks, right? So these are like 2 to 3 hour one-on-one private makeup lessons. Um, and I teach you everything you want to learn, how to apply, a specific, like makeup area that you want to focus on, let's say, or if you want to do the entire face, we can do that, whatever it may be. And then, afterwards, I send you like step-by-step instructions on, how to apply the makeup. I send you
Wow.
links, yeah, shoppable links to all of the products we use, all the makeup brushes we use, everything. That way you're equipped with everything you need for that makeup look or your everyday makeup, whatever it may be.
What a fantastic, I've never heard of
Yeah.
any makeup artists doing that. That's a great idea
Yeah.
because so many of
Yeah.
us just like YouTube tutorial clown makeup on our face,
I know.
as you know, with me a few months ago. And so,
Yes.
like, it would be great if they could go to someone like you and just be like, okay, here's
Yeah.
how to make it look every day. Um,
Exactly. It's
Offering, and that's a great offering for other makeup artists to have, you know?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. It's yeah, if you're a makeup artist out there, that is a huge thing to offer for sure. And it's so different than just watching a YouTube tutorial, right? Because a YouTube tutorial, that it's gonna look very different on them than it is on you, right? They have a totally different eye shape. They have a totally different face structure. So where they apply their shadow may be very different than where you need to apply your shadow. Or, like same thing with contouring, where they apply their contour may be very different than where you need to apply your contour. So that's what's really nice about a one-on-one makeup lesson with
Sure.
a makeup artist is they see your face structure. They know exactly where, you know, they need to apply that product on you or where you should be applying that product on yourself. So,
Wow.
yeah.
I'm amazed
Yeah.
by you because these are offerings that not a lot of people would think about, right? So these
Yeah. Yeah.
are unusual offerings, but they're so needed. It's so many of
Yeah.
us don't know how to do it. And
Yeah.
outside of that initial session with a makeup artist, we're completely lost after that. So,
Yeah.
wow, Raquel, this is amazing. And then you also
Yeah.
got into tanning services as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah. I
you're doing
did
that too.
start. Yeah, I started spray tanning at the very end of last year.
Okay.
So it's almost coming up on a year actually since I started spray tanning. Yeah, no, it's been a really cool and fun addition to my business. And everything I do is mobile, right? So I'm a mobile makeup artist, I'm a mobile spray tan artist. So it's nice because I come to your house and spray tan you from the comfort of your own home. I bring everything I need and it's just a very quick thing, right? Spray tanning takes about 10 minutes.
Yes.
So from the time I set up to the time I leave, it's about 30 minutes, right? So it's a 10-minute setup, 10-minute spray tan, 10-minute um, packing up, and then I leave. So it's very, very quick and easy. And it's really fun to do it for like my brides and their bridal parties. We have like spray and sip parties where like, they have like champagne or like mimosas, whatever it may be, right?
Yeah.
And then like I spray tan the entire bridal party and then the bride is free. So
Oh,
yeah,
what
it's
a
really,
great
yeah,
idea. So again, like you
yeah,
said, all your services is booked through the CRM, so they just go to your link in the bio basically, and that's how you set it up.
yes,
They click and they schedule.
yes, exactly. So everything is on my website. So if you follow me on Instagram or Facebook, wherever it may be, you can click on the link that is linked on my Instagram bio, and then you can just click there, and it's gonna bring you to all the different options to
Okay.
like yeah, to book your wedding makeup, your spray tan, all the things are on there.
And
Yeah, so it takes you directly to my website.
it's at Raquel Alba Beauty, correct? The handle for
Yes.
Instagram and TikTok?
Yes. Yes, and TikTok. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Great. So
Yeah.
we'll put that all in the show notes. Raquel, thank
Yeah.
you so much for joining us today. I think this is
Yeah.
going to be a really informative episode for a lot of people because there's a lot more individuals entering into this artistry, and that's what it is. It's an art. So to combine that with making your income is such a blessing to be able to do your art and make money off of it. So thanks for
Yeah.
inspiring everyone.
Yes, absolutely. My pleasure. It was so much fun. Thank you so much for having me. This was amazing. And, I hope to those people listening, I've kind of given you some little pieces of wisdom. Hopefully you've learned a little something, even if it's just one thing. But yes,
So
yes, just,
this is extreme. Like I've learned from this. I didn't realize there was so much involved with it. So it's incredibly
yeah.
fascinating to realize that no matter what you do, there's a lot of back end work that has to be done to get it up and running.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a lot more than people think, It's not just like, oh, here I am with like my makeup and just
Right.
doing makeup. That's it. There's a lot of behind the scenes going on. It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of tools you need to set up before even touching a face.
Well,
You want to,
it'll be
yeah, you
good.
want to be protected.
It'll be good in a few years to look back at this episode when you're in Kylie Jenner's office.
Woo!
Start chatting with her, mentoring with her on how to become
Yes.
that next level. Because I really believe
Yes.
your brand's gonna get there. You just got to be seen a little bit more. So
Yes.
Raquel, thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for joining. Everyone, thanks for tuning into the episode, and stay tuned next week as we talk more about igniting your business spark. Thanks for listening to the Spark BizCast. Join us again soon for our next episode, and don't forget to subscribe